Hey, everybody, Jim V here. It is time for my March-April snake oil column. And I wanted to talk about a subject that I see just so common again, that is always kind of floating around. And I had to kind of dig back into the archives for this one. This is actually a column I wrote 20 years ago. And of course, it couldn't be more applicative today as well, with very similar themes going on. And this column was originally published in my second published book, Snake Oil Volume 1, which you can catch on Amazon. But, this is, like I said, a subject that I frequently use as a humor point, but I think it's a very real thing for a lot of people that they worry about, and I have just a different take on this perspective. So I'm going to read the column and then just comment on a little bit from there. So this particular column is called "The End Times Are Near." Since the early 80s, when I began to study metaphysics, a variety of people have subjected me to new theories about the coming of the end of the world. Channels have predicted catastrophes, radical earth changes, California slipping into the ocean, governments collapse, and hosts of other dire predictions. Many religious groups and cults sell apocalyptic visions of how near the end of the world is. A few years ago, I was at a Walmart in a small town in northern Arizona and noticed this very theme in many of the religious books being sold. I was amazed at the amount of material devoted to the prophecies of doom and gloom. I've seen magazines and books with themes from scientists to conservationist groups who also predict an assortment of disasters. One has to wonder, is catastrophe inevitable? Is the world coming to an end? I was first exposed to this idea back in the late 70s when I was in the ninth grade. Someone brought copies of a tabloid to school. The tabloid reported that a comet would hit the United States at 12 noon that day, causing massive destruction all over the planet. That day, lunchtime was divided between fearful students, some actually in tears, and the rest of us making deliciously cruel comments to the dumbasses who actually believed this stuff. 1999 brought on the most dramatic set of crazy predictions. I had a few people tell me that I was foolish to be in Phoenix during this time. They had attended seminars telling them that the National Guard would be surrounding the city, electricity would stop, rioting and looting would be rampant, and planes would fall from the sky. One wealthy woman with too much time and paranoia on her hands informed me that she had stocked her shed with 2 years' worth of dry food and water. She had also purchased a pedal car for the crisis times that were, quote, inevitable. She would be one of those wise enough to have planned for transportation. Like all the other crazy predictions I have been handed over the years, 2000 came and went, with things more or less continuing as they always have. Things like the second coming, the tribulation, a new ice age, or the sun going nova and aliens conquering our planet, or the end of life as we know it, may still loom ahead of us. I guess all of these things are possible. Still, my perception in all of this has always been the same. What does it really matter if any of this comes to pass? Why waste time worrying about it? I've noticed that the majority of people claiming to have all the powerful secret information all seem to have a similar pattern. When your marriage is a disaster, your job sucks, you're sexually frustrated, you struggle with whether your life has meaning, and emotional issues are left unresolved, having secret doom and gloom knowledge can make us feel powerful again. Most men and women waiting for the aliens to land in their yards and contact them again are starved for a sense of purpose and aliveness. They have a distorted, honest desire to help the world in some way. This is a way of expressing that desire. I'm not blind to the problems of the world. Conservationists make good points. At times, we can't continue pillaging the planet without expecting repercussions. Things in many areas need to change. Screwed up weather patterns, global warming, and ozone depletion are realities in some respects in this world. It is possible we have had alien contact, assuming we're the only one planet with life on it is rather narcissistic. Metaphysical and biblical predictions may have some accuracy as well, although misinterpretations in both areas are abundant. Still, why do so many people think that everything predicted in the Bible written 2,000 years ago has anything to do with the present time? Why would people in 80 AD be obsessed with what would be happening in 2025? I figured what good is focusing on these negative predictions anyway? For my studies of life in this world, we can't really get out of our Earth school lessons. We signed up to learn and grow and play here on Earth. Even if we were to take our own life to avoid lessons or potential happiness, we would still have the karma to deal with and eventually reincarnate and play at whatever we dodged the last time around. Better yet, rather than focusing on all the problems and cringing in fear about inevitable catastrophes, why not be part of the ones taking steps to make positive changes in the world? It may sound corny, but why not be part of the solution? If we go so far as to destroy ourselves and the world collectively, I'm guessing we will recreate another world, plane, or experience to finish our karmic lessons on our evolution. If nuclear war or some other catastrophe hits, do I really want to be alive in some bunker or bomb shelter with the annoying, denigrating, surviving pain in the asses who predicted all this crap anyway? I would rather go out with everyone else, living my life, growing, learning, and having fun right up until the very end. I'd rather be having sex with my partner, smoking a tasty cigar, or drinking a delicious cup of coffee with a few friends in a cool coffee house. To me, a life spent worrying about and preparing for the end of the world is a far bigger catastrophe than any world crisis could ever be. All right, so I wrote this actually back in late December of 2003. So it's actually more than 20 years old. And again, something written 20 years ago, that was a couple of years after Y2K. It really has a lot of the same repercussions now. It's political, it's scientific, it's COVID, it's the, again, religious people with the tribulation. I mean, there's always something to have you having a stroke about worry. And again, I'm not saying that we should necessarily turn a blind eye to the problems, but my point would be, we're not helping by worrying about these things. Again, practical steps have value, but I think, again, from metaphysical perspective, energetic perspective, a lot of perspectives, all this stuff seems really kind of out there. And again, as I pointed out, why would stuff be written in the Bible back in 80 AD or 15 AD or 200 AD be caring about what was going to be happening in 2025 or when I wrote this in 2003? So choose your battles. Live life, grow, be happy, and, feel free to comment below on your thoughts on this. I always appreciate the commentary, and check out my website at Ventura Sag for information at yahoo.com for information on, check out my website at jimventura.com for information on booking services, or buy me a coffee /Ventura Wara for information about different services that I offer, and my email is venturasag, one word, at yahoo.com to info on booking a personal session in office or by phone. All right, happy almost start to spring. Stay happy. Cheers.